Hi everybody. If you were able to see, you'd be able to see right now I'm pointing down to Gretchen, who is at a standstill, and my hand is on her harness in the appropriate grip, which is your thumb is underneath the handle of the harness. The harness goes all the way across about 8 to 10 inches, and your thumb is underneath, and then your four fingers are on the top of the harness, and that allows you to feel every move that the dog makes. And then the harness is wrapped around her chest, and it goes up like between her legs and around her collarbone. And for Gretchen, we particularly have some red bows that are here. But I was on my way home, and I'm less than 3 houses away from my home, and it's dark. But I just wanted to share with you something that happened about 10 years ago. It was probably my very, very worst blind accident. And I was coming out of a meeting at the church, and it was a small meeting, maybe 10 or 15 people. And it was just about this time. And I left my phone at home because I thought, okay, I'm going to be in a meeting. I'm not going to need my phone. I'm 1 block away. And I certainly didn't have Gretchen. I did not even use an identification cane, nor did I use a regular white cane, because at the time I really didn't need it, especially walking home. I could see the sidewalk. But I came outside, and what I couldn't see is the levels. And I've not been able to see levels in about, I'm going to guess about 15 years, maybe even longer. But so as I walked out the conference room door, I walked out onto a sidewalk, and what I thought was a straight, flat walkout onto the parking lot, and then on my way home was actually a pretty steep step down, a complete step down. And of course, I happened to have owned some 3.5-inch wedges, which, you know, they looked really cute. They were comfortable, and they would have been fine walking around inside. But I never thought that I wouldn't be able to see the drop off or the changes in levels. You know, the curve down to the parking lot. So I tripped, I fell, both ankles twisted, and I mean cracked, twisted. I heard a crack, and there was absolutely no one in the parking lot, because I had walked out the opposite end where people didn't park that were in the meeting. And so I sat on the curb for a second, and I thought, okay, somebody's going to come around. Well, nobody came around. And what ended up happening is my ankles immediately started swelling, and I didn't have my iPhone with me. I didn't have any phone, because there weren't iPhones back then, but I didn't have my cell phone with me. And I've stopped here at my house because Gretchen and I are home, and with the beds are stills. Anyway, so I came out of the meeting, tripped and fell, and I had a high ankle sprain injury on both legs. Both legs were affected, and I was in so much pain. There was absolutely no one in the parking lot. It was a Sunday evening. No one was going down the street, up and down, because it was a side street. And I thought, okay, I'll start hobbling home, and certainly I will encounter somebody, you know, that can at least give me a ride 3 houses down. Right now I'm panning back down the sidewalk that I was hobbling down that day, and it probably took me a good 30 minutes to walk what would normally take me about 45 seconds. I hobbled and I hobbled and I hobbled, and I couldn't take off my wedges, even though they were like, you know, sandal wedges. I couldn't take those off, because then I thought, okay, I'll cut my feet, and I can't do that. So I had to stay in the wedges for protection of my feet. And I thought, stupid me, I should have brought at least my cell phone. I could have called someone at home. And my daughter was sitting out on the front porch at the time, and she was in college, and her daughter were living with us. So she said, oh my gosh, she knew something was wrong when she saw me, like, pass by the I guess the perimeter of our front yard, which our sidewalk, our city sidewalk, goes straight in front of our house. So she knew something was wrong, and I just basically collapsed when I got to the front steps. And she and my husband helped me. They basically had to carry me into the house. My lower legs were already so swollen, and I basically just put ice packs on it, took some Tylenol, took some Motrin, and said, no, I'll be okay. I elevated both feet. The next morning, I couldn't even move my feet. And I'm pretty stubborn. And I was not. This was the stubbornness of blindness. I was not about to allow myself to go seek orthopedic assistance from falling down while blind. I just wasn't going to allow it. So at the time, I had just completed a pretty extensive work experience with a nonprofit. And the only thing I was doing was some volunteer work, and I knew I could put that off as long as I needed to because it was volunteer. So I laid in my bed I laid every day in my bed. And then at the end of each, I'm going to sit on the steps for a second. At the end of each day, I would try to see if I could possibly get up and move around. And I couldn't. My legs were too swollen. They really, really hurt. So every day I just laid. After about 4 days of just laying flat with someone bringing me soup and, helping me in and out just ever so slightly into the shower, out of the shower, back in the bed with my legs elevated with ice packs and compresses like that, I decided, well, I can't let this stop me. So I started crawling around my house, and I thought, okay, if I can't walk on these feet and these ankles, and it was really shins and ankles, if I can't walk, what I'll do is I'll just crawl. So I would crawl to the kitchen. I would empty the dishwasher, put all the plates and dishes and stuff up on top of the countertop. I would crawl to the laundry bin where the dirty clothes were, the soiled clothes. I would drag those out, throw them in a laundry basket, push it along, crawl to the laundry room where the washer and dryer were, throw it in. Sometimes, I would have to just pull myself up with all the strength and the determination that I had to get up to the level that I could actually pour detergent and start the washer, or transfer the clothes from the washer to the dryer and then start the dryer. So I had to do that. When I emptied the dishwasher, I put the plates and the dishes and the cups and the glasses all up on the countertop. If I had the strength, if I could get to one position where I didn't have to move, I could kind of stay in the same position and then place all the glasses and the dishes and the bowls and the silverware all in the drawers that were near the dishwasher. And if it were something that were like 2 steps away from the dishwasher, I would leave it on the counter for my husband to do when he got home from work. So this went on for about 6 weeks. And my husband kept saying, are you going to the orthopedist? And I'm thinking, nope, I'm not going to an orthopedist, because what they're going to do is I'm going to lay up here for another 10 days until they decide it's time to do surgery, and then they're going to do surgery, and I'm going to lay up here for another 5 or 6 days, and then I'm going to start physical therapy. So excuse me, I had to sneeze. So I decided at that point I was going to see how my body would heal. Like I said, I had just finished some mandatory work, and I was only working on volunteer work. So I could put off that volunteer work as long as I needed to. It wasn't desirable, but I could do it as long as I needed to. And slowly but surely, my legs started healing. They were these long ligaments and tendons that are attached to your ankles. They go kind of up the sides of either of your shins, and they're called high ankle sprains. And to this day, I have some difficulty with it. Sometimes they just start aching for no reason, but I didn't have to have surgery. And you know, I still think that if I had had surgery, I would have been incapacitated for at least 6 weeks. And I was incapacitated for 5 weeks and 6 days. So that's my story, my blind story. And, you know, I'm stubborn, I'm determined. And the most important thing to me at that point, and it might even be now at this point, is I do not want to admit to myself or anybody else that blindness has caused, you know, a certain incapacity. And in that case, it certainly caused my incapacity, because I twisted both ankles falling off a tall curve, a very tall curve. But I wasn't prepared. I didn't have my cane, I didn't have my cell phone. And now I leave home and I have my cane, my cell phone, I have my guide dog, I have my clicker, I have her treats. There's just so many other tools that I remember now to take that I did not think about then as a recently non-visually functioning person. So that's the moral of my story, and it's a Sunday evening, and that's what made me think about that, because I was out walking Gretchen, and we passed right by the place that it happened. And, you know, under normal circumstances, like I said, it takes about 45 seconds to walk from that point to where I am. But that evening, it took about 30 minutes, and I was in so much pain, you could have just knocked me over there with a hammer, and I would have been much happier. So, anyway, the moral of the story is, when you leave home, go out with your tools, go out with the things you need. And, you know, it's a little different than what you used to perhaps go out with. Many of you might have gone out with car keys and sunglasses and, you know, a credit card and a gas card and you know, those kinds of things. And it's the same thing. You go out with the things you need. You still need your sunglasses. You still need your house key. You probably could use a credit card or a debit card just in case something comes up. But you certainly need your cane, your cell phone. If you have a guide dog and a leash, that's even better. That's another tool. And just hope you learned a little bit of something from this post, and I will talk to you next time, everybody. I hope you have a really, really nice Sunday evening, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.